Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about pop culture through the lens, of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham, I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney.
Oh, and we're at the end of the line, people. We are at Sister Wives, the third part of the one-to-one tell-all, and oh boy, what a journey we've all been on together.
It's been a journey.
Yes, it has, and I'm very happy to be on this journey with all of you and Brooke and all of that. Though, just off the top, I will say I was a little disappointed because I always feel, and I said this last time, which is if you do 3 parts, the third part's always explosive.
Oh, I thought it was pretty good.
You thought it was pretty good?
Yeah.
It was good. I learned some things. Robyn seems to have woken up.
She woke up, and Kody was on a tear.
He was on a tear
a few
too.
things. He said a couple things that made me gasp.
Yes. Oh, okay. And and Meri kind of was there. We'll get to that,
Barely.
But it's barely there. But I guess I was just, I don't know. What's so annoying now is they do all these sneak peeks, and just like with the Prince Harry book, it's like now I don't even want to look at anything. I'm like, let me save something.
Don't spoil it. They do a lot of sneak peeks.
It's too much spoiling in our world. I don't like it. So we start with a little bit from last week where Kody is asked about his relationship with Robyn. He does that weird thing where he looks at his watch. He doesn't want to talk about her. And then he and Sukanya together watch the clip from the first episode of the season where Christine basically says Robyn is the favorite wife. And that's where we begin.
Yeah. And he says, oh no, Robyn, she's not getting any preferential treatment. Kody says, I have someone in my life who is loyal to me and sees me as head of the family. And that pretty much encapsulates, this whole show. Is that anyone who doesn't, treat him like head of the family, kiss the ring, be loyal to him, he has a problem. Yeah. And, this quote, he's said it before, but he says it all the time. He says, I'd rather be respected than loved.
Yeah, which is real weird.
Real weird. And God, and, he's just continues to be so creepy angry.
And the thing that's interesting about it is he will, when they watch these clips, he'll refer back and he'll say, oh yeah, well, Christina just broken my heart and I was really in this vulnerable place. And I'm like, but you're still mad. Do you know what I mean? He'll sort of go back and say, oh yeah, I was feeling all of these emotions and that's why I said these things, but I don't really feel that. But yes, you do. And you did then. And you're, 50 something? You can't control your emotions or feelings. Like it's just a little bit of, he just feels like he can, like a child, like a little baby, now I'm happy, now I'm sad, now I'm happy. Just roll with me with my emotions of how I feel. And it's so obvious in the conversation that he has with Janelle that Janelle's just like, what are you talking about? Like, just, we'll get to that. But
yeah,
anywho, but Christine basically says that she has always felt like a third wheel. And that's how she's felt. And then they go to Janelle and Janelle says, yes, Kody has a better relationship or a different relationship than she has. And then he goes back yet again and says that It was back to Christine stuff. It was sour grapes in Las Vegas. If Christine wasn't happy unless she was getting more than everyone else.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Really makes no sense. And they don't go to Christine for that. We never get to see Christine's reaction to that comment. Maybe
I don't know. I think Christine, is just like, am I done here?
Yeah.
Can I go now?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And so then Sukanya asks him, is Robyn your favorite wife? And of course, at first he gets all mad and says, that's unfair. I'm not going to answer that. And he starts pouting. But then he eventually says that he won't say that she's his favorite wife. He says, Robyn does things to earn my favor.
Well, actually, Sukanya used the word earn.
Okay.
That was not, she did admit that,
but he agrees, he agrees with that. Mm-hmm. He says that Robyn never shit talked him, back to that thing. And he says that Robyn puts up her dukes if anyone tries to shit talk him. She defends him. And then he says there's a character issue
with Christine, because basically what he's saying is, right, that if Christine wanted that kind of loving relationship, that she needed to be, essentially what he was saying was, she needed to be a better person. She needed to be better and kinder and more loving, basically putting it all on to him. But so what he's doing is he's putting the entire the marriage not working out, he's putting it all on Christine, saying it's all Christine's fault. If she was nicer and didn't shit talk me and did more loyal, we would still be together. But here we are, and he's not willing. Yet again, he takes no responsibility for his own behavior, for his own actions. For Kody, you had to have done something to make her feel this way. We've watched you guys for many years here. We know Christine's not a crazy person. Yeah. She's not coming up with this stuff.
And then Christine actually comes in and defends Janelle and says that Janelle was very loyal, always stuck up for him. And when Christine would complain to Janelle would, stick up for him. Mm-hmm.
But Kody never says if Robyn is a favorite wife, but he starts listing all of her positive qualities. And I thought this was interesting because the way he phrased it was, she's not his favorite, but finds favor. Find favor by...
she caters to him.
Find favor by never trash talking him. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you can think about favor like, hey, can you do me a favor? But the context in which he's using the word favor is favorite. Right. I don't know. I was just like, it was really bothering me how much he was getting into the semantics of things. And I was just like, but you're already contradicting your own semantics. Like, because you know what you're talking about.
Because he doesn't want to come out and say, I prefer Robyn because she doesn't question me. She doesn't challenge me. She has trained her children to treat him that way, to be loyal to him. She's loyal to him. She sticks up for him no matter what. She does all of these things. She doesn't shit talk him. That's what he's trying to say, but he doesn't want to say it.
Yes. Yeah.
Basically.
And yeah. And so he claims that all Meri, Janelle, Christine, they have all trash talked him. And that's just a terrible, terrible thing, which again, we talked about this last week, which is, it's not trash talking. It's just venting, talking, being frustrated, processing
things that happen to you,
trying to do some of these things. But I also want to say, you and Robyn have only been married 20 years. 10 years, 12 years. Yeah. So that's you cannot compare your marriage of 12 years to someone's marriage of 30.
And also, when they got married, when Robyn and Kody got married, they were, and once they got the show and different things started happening, I think, they were financially better off. Janelle and Christine and Meri, they were with him in the beginning when they were young and had nothing and had all these babies. And Robyn came in at a different time. She was older. You can't really compare the two. But Sukanya asks Meri about, what do you think about this, favorite is Robyn Kody's favorite. And of course, Meri being always wanting to be neutral. She doesn't want to burn any bridges with Kody. So she just says Robyn is the one that he's most comfortable with and that Kody values loyalty. And then Christine is asked kind of the same question, and she basically says it was apparent to her from the beginning that they were soulmates.
Yes, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she'd ever said that before.
No, because I think she was fighting against it, all those years. She was like, well, why can't I have that? And then she just finally came to the conclusion that I'm never going to have that in that movie. She's moved on.
Yeah.
So that's why she can say that now at this point.
And now this is when Robyn comes alive. I think that Robyn has read everybody's tweets and messages on Instagram and gotten into some of these Facebook groups.
And I think she's been coached by Kody. I feel like a lot of what she says is coached by him. But
well, and I know a lot of people hate Robyn and can't stand her. And apparently she tweeted something out of like, tell me 3 times where I've been deceptive and awful, and people have come up with all of these little things. I mean, I will say that not, all of these are our assumptions. Like, we don't know if she convinced Kody to move to Flagstaff because of Dayton going to school. Right. I think this is an assumption, but Robyn comes right in and she's like, she saw Kody and Christine in the beginning of the relationship. There was such sweet banter. There was such light and fun. They seem to be looking at each other with a lot of love. And then she gets into this thing where apparently, and it was never revisited again, which is Meri, Janelle, and Christine, basically Robyn saying they just handed Kody to her and said, take him. And one of the reasons why was because of Kody's personal beliefs. He couldn't speak freely. And they never revisited any of this because we saw this in the clips. We've seen Robyn say this clip about they just threw him at me. Well, told me to take him.
I think first of all, she says Janelle and Christine. She doesn't say Meri. She said Janelle and Christine made choices. They handed him to her saying, we don't want him, you take him, because he didn't feel comfortable with them because of his personal beliefs. I think that was all about COVID.
Was that all COVID?
I think so.
In my rewatch, I haven't gotten to the COVID episodes. Maybe that's something we could do. We should review the COVID episodes.
Yeah, the progression of that. But
I guess, okay, now this is starting to make a lot more sense now because, so when she said take him, it wasn't at the beginning of the marriage. No. It was at the COVID time. And
then she said, of course he's going to flourish with my kids, because he was spending all of his time with her kids because the other wives weren't going to follow the COVID rules. And then that also led to the fractured relationships with his kids, with the other wives. So I think she was strictly talking about the last couple of years.
Okay. Now that makes more sense. I get it now. But Robyn says that Kody wants a soulmate experience with each of his wives, and Christine didn't take care of that. Yeah. So again, I don't think Robyn is diabolical, but I do believe that Robyn just listens. I think Robyn just listens to everything that Kody says and does. And I think that I guess you're right, that he did coach her on this because again, it's all on, even Robyn is putting it all on Christine.
She says,
all on Christine.
She says she blames them for not taking care of the relationship, for rejecting affection, which I take to mean sex, constantly nagging. And then she has her orange apple analogy.
I had to rewind because I was like, wait, what are we talking about?
She's like, I have an orange and you have an apple. It doesn't mean they're both good. Why do you want my orange if you have an apple? I mean, that was so Kody. I don't think she could. And then this is so cringy. And this again, Kody.
Yes.
She said that when there were stretch marks, weight gain, being stagnant in the marriage, which I think again means sex, fights, money problems, he still had romance going with each of them. What?
So that basically means even though they weren't tight-bodied, size 4,
and didn't want to have sex,
and
he was still nice to them.
Didn't want to jump his bones all the time, and life was hard with little babies and money problems. he still loved them.
Yeah.
As if that's such
What a sacrifice.
I'm sorry, those stretch marks are for your effing kids.
Right.
That's how you get the stretch
Exactly.
marks.
That's where the weight gain and the stretch marks came from, is your kids and all the fucking stress. You know, I noticed something. I was watching, you mentioned last week that on episode or season 9, they had this thing about who is Janelle.
Oh, yes.
I went back and I looked at that, and you know, the fluctuation in her weight is wild over the years, because they kept showing all these clips, and it's like you can just tell, God, this woman is the stress.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the weight just went up and down and up and down. It's like, that is stress. She was stressed out.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he needs to take some responsibility for some of that. But anyway, just a sidebar.
Yeah. What I love about all of this, of course, is Robyn gets on this high horse about how they all need to be working on their relationships, and she and Kody are successful because she, you know, believes in it and digging in. I'm like, girl, you're divorced.
Yeah.
Like, get over yourself already. Like, you've been here. Okay. So, and you've gotten to a point with another person at some point in your life who that you were really married to for what, 5, 6, 7 years? I mean, for a very short amount of time. And here she is judging Janelle and Christine with these long marriages as if they haven't been fighting this whole time.
Right.
How long is Christine supposed to wait until she's what, 70, 80 years old to start having a life?
Well, also, the only reason her marriage is good with Kody is because she worships him.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
whatever she's doing, she's making him feel like he's head of the family. She's loyal. She's completely brainwashed her kids into thinking Kody is the best and he should be obeyed. And you know what? I feel really badly for them, because, and when you look at old episodes where, okay, like the whole thing about them being adopted by him, the episode where it's so confusing because, okay, they have a father. Okay, the parents got divorced, but they have a father that they have a relationship with. She moves them, you know, into this family. And then there was an episode where they told the kids that their biological father, who's still their father for all intents and purposes, they have a relationship with him, has signed paperwork so that Kody can adopt them.
Yeah.
And Aurora was all happy and clapping, but the other two looked very confused. Like Dayton especially, he had this look on his face like, what is happening? Looked very confused. I'm sure it was very confusing to them. There's an episode early on where before they even got married, Robyn is showing her youngest daughter pictures of Kody and the family, and she's like, who's that? It's like she's prepping them.
Yeah, she's doing that 90-day fiance thing.
This is your sister, you know, McKelty. Now, what is her name? And so she shows a picture of Kody, and she's like, who's that? And the girl says, Kody. And she's like, who? And she's like, oh, Dad. You know, so she has them calling him Dad before they're even married. They just met the guy. And then right after the adoption was finalized, she sends her kids off to Montana, I think, wherever the father lives, to go spend a month with him. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, I've always felt, I said this before, I do not understand Aurora, because Aurora from day one has been like dying. Like, she just kind of came into this family and has been fawning over Kody the entire time. She was so thrilled when he said that they were going to get adopted. She was so happy. She's like the first one, you know, every time you see him coming home, she's like the first one knocking people down.
Yeah, has to hug them.
And that is, I've always found that entire situation really bizarre. It would be one thing if they never had a father, or a father died when they were very, very young, or something else. But there's this man who's there and who, I don't know, why did he give up his rights so easily? I mean, what happened?
How
can you move with your kids to another state when you're divorced?
Every state is different, has different laws regarding, you know, move away rights and that kind of thing. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know how or what they had to do to get this guy to do this and why he did it. I don't know. I wish he would come out and talk.
I wish he would talk about it. All right. So now we're back to this. Now we've moved on to Janelle, and we're watching that outdoor.
Where Kody has a fit.
Yes, we're watching yet another deck chairs. What do you call those chairs?
Camping chairs.
Chairs. Thank you. I was trying to think of the name. These camping chairs out by the fire at someone's house, outdoors. God forbid we can be in,
because COVID tests.
COVID, I know. COVID-19. I got it, Kody.
Kody almost died,
Yes, he did. And we're back to this whole thing about the holidays and the COVID rules and all of that. And this I thought was really interesting was that Kody's mad that he feels like Janelle belittled him and the COVID rules. And then Robyn jumps right in telling Kody, I know you've been so hurt and rejected for the past 18 months. It must be hard. And then we get Janelle going, God, I hate Counselor Robyn. And she basically says, right, Robyn placates Kody.
Yeah, and she says he's not the only person who's been hurt and rejected. Her boys feel just as rejected, and he still hasn't approached them.
Yeah. And then Kody is mad. We get to be Kody because Cody's mad because Christine and Janelle were vacationing while I had COVID. It's like, oh, come on. What do you want? Because and this is this through line of this is he is so mad at Janelle. And I truly believe that he was fine with Janelle until he saw that she was supporting Christine. Mm-hmm. And because
that really got him.
And he just can't understand that these sister wives, when you were sister wives, you guys couldn't get along and now you're the best of friends. Yeah. Now, maybe it's you, Kody, then. Maybe you should ask yourself there.
Maybe when you're out of the equation, everybody gets along just fine.
Yeah. So we go back to Kody's mad that Janelle didn't enforce the COVID rules. And Sukanya in that moment says, points out that, well, it sounds like you are blaming Janelle. I feel like people have been really criticizing Sukanya. They feel like she hasn't been asking the tough questions and all of that. And I will say that you can't interview someone. Everyone wants Andy Cohen and all these people to come in and be like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you doing
people shut down?
Yeah, you can't do that. The master interviewer, who I think is Howard Stern, does a really good job of finding openings to bring things up, and he'll get people to start talking about things because he sort of warmed them up for a while, and then he'll sort of through the back door bring something up and get Hugh Grant to talk about that prostitute back in the 80s and 90s and get people to reveal things. And he doesn't start off by, just jumping right in.
Yeah,
and
she does get him to,
yes.
Even though initially he's like, I'm not going to talk about that. She did get him to come around and talk about it.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel like people should get off Sukanya's back. Because she's just doing what she's supposed to do. She has to gain their trust. But she points out that, aren't you right now blaming Janelle for this?
Yeah. And then I'm not quite sure how they got on this topic. Maybe it's because he was mad about Janelle not enforcing the COVID rules, but this made me ill. He talks about talking about Gabe and Garrison.
Oh yes, I learned a new term.
Oh, this I'd heard this before, but I have to say this is a term that is extremely dated. And anybody?
Oh really?
I'm 50. I don't think
I've never heard this term.
But he says, well, I don't understand why they couldn't just move out if they wanted to continue dating. And he says, if one of my little kids dies just so someone can get their pencil wet, and then he hits the chair.
Yes.
And it's just like, that's disgusting. Mm-hmm. You're talking about your children. And how are a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old exactly supposed to go out and get their own apartment when they just graduated from high school? What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So... And that's what makes me also wonder, is Dayton graduated from college?
I mean, he probably should be by now. I mean,
okay, so how was he? So
yeah, there's a different rule for Dayton. Dayton lives in, exactly, but it's okay for Dayton, who I think is around the same age as
Garrison and
I
Gabe.
think he might be 1 year older than Gabe. Because when they moved to Flagstaff, that would... Dayton would have just been starting college, and Gabe was in his junior year, I believe. So I think he's 2 years older. So he must have been graduated or close to being graduated by now. And he's still living at home. But it's because Robyn forces all her kids to stay home and shelter in place, and they can't leave. And, you know, Janelle. Yeah. So that's that.
Well, and also, I can't. And it doesn't seem to matter what Janelle says to him to try to get him to understand that you can't compare all these kids. Dayton is not Gabe and Garrison. You know, everybody is at a different point in their life, and this affects them differently. And I also have to say that, yes, you should, you know, we abided by all the COVID rules. We did all of this, but what is proper and not proper when it comes to COVID is really subjective, because I chatted with a lot of my clients that were out and about doing things that I was like, oh, okay, but I'm not here to judge them for it. So, but basically what you're asking for are these two kids who just graduated from school to just shut their lives down and we didn't know how long this was all going to last.
So they're trying to work. Well, Garrison, you know, he's already been in the military for a couple of years. Like he's trying to save money to buy a house. He's working. You want him to just stay home? I mean, that's ridiculous. And it's just like, you know, and COVID, this is the thing. Kody is such a control freak that he thinks he can control COVID. And as we all know, COVID is uncontrollable. It is sneaky. I know people who never left their house ever and one time left and got COVID. I know people who have been out and about and have never had COVID and everything in between. You can't control COVID. You can take precautions, you can follow advice, but it's just like Kody is such a control freak.
Well, and the fact that he's so mad at Janelle that she is choosing her children over him. And it's like, duh. That's what a good mom would do, is she always chooses her children over anybody else. So now we get Kody speaking directly into the camera and apologizes to Gabe and Garrison, which I feel like the apology was just a little bit like, okay, America wants me to say I'm sorry, so I'm sorry.
I wasn't buying it.
I mean, this is the kind of sorry I get from my 15-year-old. I'm sorry. So Kody does admit that Janelle suffered more than anyone else by plural marriage, which goes back to her rough time in the beginning and all of that. And now we go back to the conversation that Janelle and Kody had at the outdoor cafe, the infamous Fat Olives. That place, some pizza place where he's squeezing lemon.
He's trying to make his own lemonade.
He's trying to make it. He's putting lemon into water and lemonade and whatever it is. And Kody says because he's coming off a divorce, Christine was juxtaposing. I got a little confused here. So Christine was juxtaposing her relationship against another no longer. I'm so confused. I can't even understand my own notes. I was so frustrated. What do you have?
Well, I have that Janelle was commenting. She said that if I can't have independence in this in plural marriage, that doesn't work for me. Should the rules have changed? And I think, and a lot of it is that he can't control the kids. That, you know, she's just talking about how like this just doesn't work anymore. And Kody says, and so Kanye says, well, why weren't you more vulnerable in that conversation with Janelle? And he says it was, well, because I just spent 2 years being disrespected because I was trying to protect my family. And then he again accuses Janelle of shit talking him, his new obsession.
Yeah, Janelle doesn't respect him. And then he does this weird thing where he starts to look around. Like, I thought that was a really... and then we go back to Janelle. And Janelle, I feel like, is really... And this is why I love Janelle, because she really is the voice of reason. Because she then goes, like, listen, people aren't one thing. You know, it's not all black and white. It's not all this and that, right? That there's good and bad, light and dark in everyone. And that, you know, she didn't perceive herself as someone who was shit talking him all around. That she thought that they were good and things were good between the two of them. But then it's revealed that they're separated, and she's really, 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 really happy.
Yeah, I know. She says she's indifferent. She doesn't care anymore. She's upset about how he treated the kids. And she said she doesn't respect him because, this whole thing about respect. Yeah. She says, well, it goes both ways. She says, I don't respect him.
Yeah.
And she said something about how, going back to Robyn, she said, Robyn makes him feel respected and she obeys him or something like that. And I think that, that obey word is really appropriate for Robyn. She obeys him.
And so Kanye's asking if, oh, wow, you're separated. Do you think this can be fixed, or are you going to try to fix it? And Kody wants to fix it, but Janelle needs to respect him. And then we hear from Janelle, it's like Kody always wants to find, this is what she said that I thought that was very telling. Kody always wants to find a reason aside from looking at himself to justify why he's having a problem with you. And she just summed it right up. Yeah. There you go. That is Kody. He's never going to take any ownership of anything. Nothing is ever his fault. It's everyone else's fault.
Yeah. And then I think Kody says this. He says that Robyn brought her 2 kids who were the same age as Gabe and Garrison into full compliance on our COVID agreement. He had to put that out there. Full compliance. Okay, well, again, that's the difference between Robyn's parenting and Janelle's parenting.
But I also want to say, you can, even though they're the same age, you've got one kid that you can say to, like, hey, you really got to follow these rules. Dad is upset and it's really important. And that one kid might say yes. And another kid might say no. Like, that's the thing. In some ways, your parenting and your relationship with your children is obviously very, very important. But your kid is born with the personality that they're born with. And even though you may parent them in a certain way, they still have their own opinions. And these 2 boys are over the age of 18. Like, what was Janelle going to do? Lock them in?
Yeah, I know.
What, she could just tell him, that these are the rules, but she can't enforce them. And we've always seen through the years that Gabe and Garrison especially, they have their more forward, independent thinkers. They haven't really loved this family life and all this crapola, that maybe they're not so... That while some people in the family like being in this big family, maybe they don't like it so much and they want to make their own choices. And Janelle cannot stop 2 young men from going off and living their life. But and at the same time, she's still their mother, so she can't reject them.
Right.
I mean, that would be horrendous parenting. Right. Right? To say, well, forget you, then I'm not speaking to you anymore. Yeah. Right?
Well, my daughter, who... she's been for the last 2 years, she started working before she even graduated high school during COVID, worked outside of the house, has gone to college, come back, gone out there, worked, gone to school, come back home, whatever. What am I supposed to do? Say, no, you can't do that. I mean, no, life goes on. And, she's gotten COVID a few times. I've never gotten it. Yeah. We've always been careful.
But Layla was very careful in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
You got to understand, this COVID's been still
3 years.
3 years. 3 years. So there's different phases of it. In the beginning, before we had a vaccine, we all were. I mean,
for a year, she stayed at home.
She stayed at home. And it was like, oh, I'm vaccinated and I got to, I'm 18 years old and I need to go live my life.
Right. As soon, she did not go to work till she was vaccinated. And that's another thing, too, with... all of this, haven't even gotten into the whole vaccine thing. If Kody would just get him and, his family vaccinated, that would go a long way.
Yeah. You wouldn't have had such horrible COVID.
Exactly. And this is just ridiculous. You're going to keep these young adults locked away for years. No.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
No, this was a very stressful thing for people and their kids. And listen, my son... he did not do much during COVID because that's his personality. And now he has social problems and we have to now tackle that issue. So I didn't have to run after him and say, you can't go here, you can't go there. But now he can't socialize very well because he's been in his house for, 3 years and he's just an only child. So that's the flip side of it. That's the flip side of your kid never leaving the house. So what is Janelle to do? And Christine, the both of them had so many kids at these varying ages.
Yeah, and they're the parents too. They have a right to, but this goes against Kody's, I'm the head of the family.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to obey me.
Now, when we're back to Robyn is pissed. And, I decided to really stop taking notes and get real close. You're right. Robyn does not have tears.
No.
Her voice starts to break. Her eyes start to water a little. They will get a slightly glassy, but no tears ever come out. And if my eyes well up, then the tears are coming.
Mm-hmm. It's involuntary. I know, that's the thing. It's an involuntary response. She's a total faker.
So she feels punished because she is a better communicator with Kody. She is tired of being punished, which means she says that she speaks to him like he's her best customer, which I thought was a very interesting analogy, right? That's so odd. You're my best customer. And I think I understand the idea behind it, which is true in marriages, especially long-term marriages. It's very easy to take your partner for granted. It's very easy to be like, oh, F you, go away, or, whatever, that you do need to treat the person that you're with, with love and respect and paying attention to them and all of that. But I would never say best customer, because best customer means that
customer's always right.
The customer's, very good. Mm-hmm. Customer's always right. And the way in which you treat your best customer is something that you do temporarily,
right?
That you can do in short spurts of time of yes, ma'am. Okay, smile. Great idea. Bye. And then they're out the door. Mm-hmm. How do you live with someone?
Right.
How do you live with your best customer?
You're constantly catering to them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, again, that's what he wants.
Yes.
Obedience, a deference to him, respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same. Whatever you want to call it. It's like Kody's way or the highway.
Yeah,
is basically. But interspersed in there, I just wanted to touch on. There was Janelle brought up the issue of her housing.
Yes,
and
that's right.
She said that if she had been prioritized, the land would have been paid off, and she would have had a house, and there were no excuses offered by anyone when Robyn needed a house, and that they depleted all of their accounts to buy her house.
Mm-hmm. So they took care of Christine. They took care of Robyn. I guess Meri had that in, because I've just recently saw a picture of Meri's house in Flagstaff. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
One person, her house is probably 3 times the size of my house. I got to go to Flagstaff and see what the prices are.
Yeah, she's renting, but I'm sure it's the same price as a mortgage. But
I wonder how much. How much do you think the rent is on that house?
I think she said at one time it's like $5,000, or I saw it somewhere, $5,000 a month. Yeah. I mean, it's a huge house, like a 5-bedroom house, but she's always, that's why Meri has so much money, is because, they've always split everything equally, despite the fact that Meri has less kids to support.
And I'm sorry, I always felt like that argument was kind of ridiculous, which is, just because you wanted to have 7 or 8 children like your sister wives and you couldn't, still doesn't mean that you need a 7 or 8 bedroom home. I mean, that is ridiculous. And I think, and that is a sticking point, and definitely for Janelle, which is when they moved to Vegas, they were in what she said, dire straits. And Meri could not for 1 minute go, okay, fine, let me just take this 2-bedroom with my daughter, or with Leon, and with Leon, and that'll be done.
And Janelle was actually giving stuff up. Do you remember there was a scene where she went with Mona, the realtor, to the house, and she was actually downgrading her plans, saying, oh, well, the boys can share a bedroom because Logan's only going to be here for, in a couple more months. So she was cutting down the bedroom. Yeah. She was cutting down what she wanted. In the meantime, Meri was increasing it.
Yeah. I need the wet bar.
I need the wet bar and the patio and this and that. Well, you can't get that unless you get a 5-bedroom house.
Okay, so I need a 5-bedroom house.
Okay. Oh my God.
Oh, the ridiculousness of it all. I just
hope that, that Janelle got some money out of this. Mm-hmm. I mean, if she still does not have.
Well, I think she's selling Plexus.
I know, but she deserves, she basically, I saw something on a TikTok where they were doing the money calculations, and this is somewhat based on speculation, but just based upon the sale price of these houses, what was paid for Robyn's house, and what people have said on the show. Janelle, I think, had said that she put half of the profit from her house, and Meri put half of the profit from her house into Robyn's house. That right there was probably like $600,000 or something. And then they depleted even more money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something ridiculous. And the fact that, you know, these women were led to believe that, oh, it'll be your turn down the road. We'll take care of you. And then nothing. And they did nothing to prioritize any of that, making any of that happen. That just makes me so mad. I don't know.
So Janelle is saying, we're going back to Janelle, and she's very much, you know, it's funny. She's very resolved.
She said we had a great run.
Yeah, she said we had a great run. She said, I feel like I mourned him, that Christine was much more heartbroken. Because again, I think Christine was really, truly in love with Kody. And I think Janelle was like, all right, he's good. But she's very, very happy alone. But her faith requires her to work on the marriage. So she feels a bit perplexed, right, about what to do, which again, and I think she alludes to this, which is that you have this religion that's telling you fight, fight, fight for a marriage, but you inside feel so much happier outside of this marriage. And I can imagine for her, right, and this is why these dogma faiths of like, it has to be one way, one way, one way, I think are so dangerous, is that Janelle and we as individuals, we need to make choices and decisions that align with us and what feels inside of us right for us. And having this dogma religion say there's only one way to be, I think that's where she's so torn. And I don't know where they're at today. I don't know if they're still separated or what, but
Pretty sure
if they've moved to divorce, I mean, obviously they're not legally married, so they can just be at the separated place for the rest of their life if they want it.
And I think she saw the problems it caused when Christine said we're divorced. That word just sent Kody, you know, he went apoplectic. So I think she's like, okay, well, we'll just be separated. We don't need to get all dramatic about it and get you all upset about it.
Yeah. Well, it also makes for a good storyline for the show, right? I mean, this is, at the end of the day, they need the show to keep running. I mean, I'm sorry, LuLaRoe, Plexus, all of this, you guys would not be platinum members if you were not on TV. I'm sorry, you would be on someone's downline somewhere else. So,
well, they are filming for season 18.
Thank God. Oof.
Yeah.
So Christine doesn't believe Kody has the capacity for plural marriage. And then Kody says, I'm on the verge of not being a polygamist. So, okay.
Oh, yeah, you are.
And this part, I thought this was so weird. So we finally go back to Meri. We're like, oh yeah, let's bring Meri in. So Kanye's saying to her, well, Kody has said that he doesn't want to be with you. And so what now? And she's like, time will tell. Like, what? Time will tell? What? I'm just, so what are you going to do? Oh, time will tell. You know, I guess
people change, she said.
Yeah. And then we'll decide. And then she admits he's made his decision. So yes, Meri, he's made his decision. Time will not tell. He's told you. So why can't Meri get this? Or does she truly believe?
Did she truly know something we don't? I mean, obviously she does not want to burn this bridge with him. And I think that she probably really loves him. She probably knows, she must know something that at some point, like, he's going to come back. There's got to be something that she knows or some reason to believe that. Okay. And I don't know what it is, but she's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, she also is not legally married to Kody, so she could also live in this in-between state.
Yeah.
I do think that Meri, as much as it's frustrating to hear her say time will tell, I think Meri also knows I need to be on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is none of these people are, everything that they do, the quote unquote work that any of these people do is related to the show. Without the show, nothing would work. So I do believe that Janelle is being smart by not saying divorce. I think that Meri is also like, I'm not going to say divorce. Let's just keep this rolling along, and people just watch us, fall apart for the next.
No, Meri clearly wants to stay connected to the family. Christine, not so much. I think Christine knows that she can stay connected to who she wants to stay connected to. I mean, because again, like, Christine doesn't have any ties to Robyn. Meri has a tie to Robyn. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the thing is that for Janelle, seeing Robyn and Kody together, she's fine.
Right.
And I think for Christine, I think it was very, very painful.
Yeah.
It was very painful to see these people together, to repeat it, to see it. And she had to say divorce. She had to. And she wanted to go back. She wanted to go back to Utah. She wanted to be out. So a new different family and friends.
Yeah, totally different situation.
Christine thinks that Robyn and Kody are not going to look for another wife. Robyn says she wants plural marriage, and she wants that, on the porch with her sister wives. Why in God's name, who fantasizes about sitting on a porch with a bunch of other women?
In rocking chairs.
Get some friends. You can have that. You can have one husband and no sister wives and still have that. Invite your friends over.
Right.
Absolutely. But she's worried about repeating mistakes. Again, no tears come out, and being in a monogamous marriage is messing with her identity.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that means. I know. I don't know. Again, Robyn came into this family at a different point in her life. She was older. Maybe she was more entrenched in the religion. I don't know. She just seems to be, she's just much more.
Well, and I think she's a pretty naive, sheltered person.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other part of it. I don't think that she walked in there thinking or ever thought when she started in this family, oh, wait, I'm giving birth to children and all of these other children are going to be out of the house. And what's the dynamic going to be like then?
Right.
Oh, wait, what will happen here?
Well, because
Meri
always had this fantasy, and, she bought into it, that his kids were all going to come back and live with him. That they might go away to college for a few years, but they would eventually all get married and come back. And he wanted
the same town.
Yeah, he wanted a place. He kept saying he was choosing Flagstaff because it was most likely the place where his older children would be willing to come back and live. Not a single one of them,
Well, doesn't Gabe live in, or Garrison? Don't those two?
Well, yeah, they live there, but I mean, like, the ones who have gotten married, like,
oh yeah,
Maddie and
Maddie's across the country.
Yeah, like, none of those people. Logan, he's, barely shows up.
Yeah. And then we turn to Kody. He wants Christine to find her soulmate. In the end, it was a little anticlimactic at the end. I kind of wanted something more, and I was like, oh, it's over. What's happened?
he said he hopes that he can reconcile with his kids and get back with Janelle. Don't hold your breath, Kody.
And again, never mentions Meri. I mean,
No.
So that's the other part of it too, is I understand. So if Janelle, Janelle, he's always talking about Janelle, and he's still engaging with Janelle and having a relationship with Janelle. So obviously it makes sense if Janelle says, oh, I'm just going to be separated from this person. And maybe if we circle back around, that's fine. But Meri holding on with him, never mentioning her name in any of these things.
Yeah.
He wants to reconcile with his kids, and he wants to get back with Janelle.
Yeah.
No mention of Meri. So that's a little bit of why I'm like, is this a delusion in Meri's mind that something could work out, something can come back around? Or is Kody telling her things on the side? I don't know. I do not understand Meri's thinking.
Something's going on there that we don't understand. And hopefully this show will keep going and we'll find out.
Yes, hopefully it will.
I need to know.
Yes, me too.
Well, that's a wrap.
Yes.
Season 17.
Sister Wives. When is season 18 coming out?
Not soon.
Starting to get the Joneses a little bit.
Yeah, everybody is a Sister Wives fan now, and everyone can't wait. So we want to tell everyone what our plans are coming up.
Yes. So as you've noticed, we've been doing 2 podcasts a week. We are planning on continuing to do 2 podcasts a week. So on Mondays, we are starting January. So let me back up for a second. So next week we will have a Monday show talking about the Sister Wives book.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that as a little filler until our next
show. And then we'll have another episode for Monday. And then starting January 30th, we're going to be doing 90 Day Fiancé the other way. We used to watch 90 Day a long time ago. I stopped because it was just too much. But the other way has always been pretty good.
The other way is my favorite offshoot of 90 Days. So it's where an American goes to live with someone they're in love with in another country.
Mm-hmm.
And
God, are we going to have to see Jenny and Samit?
Oh, no. These are all new people.
Oh, thank God.
No,
I can't listen to their story.
These are all new people we've never met before.
Oh, good.
So it's very interesting to see an American go to another country and live there and how they act. And so I think it's a little bit different. It's a little more exciting. I like to see the other countries and the cultural differences. I enjoy that. So that will be coming out every Monday starting the 30th. And then we'll continue to do our Thursday shows.
Yes.
This Thursday, which would be the 12th?
Yes.
January 12th. We have an episode coming out about the Netflix special Bernie Madoff. What's the subtitle of it?
Gosh. Spent like an hour and a half talking about it.
Wizard of Wall Street or something.
Yeah, Wizard of Wall... No.
Something of Wall Street.
Monster of Wall Street. Yes.
Yeah, and about Bernie Madoff. It's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna have shows coming out Mondays and Thursdays,
and we're gonna keep doing it until we can do it. And wish us the best. So thank you so much for tuning in. We are so happy. So many people have been listening, and we love everyone's positive feedback. If you like the show, please tell a friend or 2 or 10 or 100, however many friends you have. And tell a friend, write us a review on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, write the review if you can. That's always helpful for us.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. Very quickly, this is Tess, the therapist. I wrote a book called True You, a step-by-step guide to conquering your quarter-life crisis. Is available for you at Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. It is for anyone who is a 20-somethings into the 30s who's confused about their life and doesn't know what to do and needs help and with decision making and fear of failure and some of these very common things. If you have a young person in your life, please check it out. And I think, and if you have any thoughts or feelings, please write us at psychlegalpoppodcast@gmail.com. Give us some of your feedback, anything that you think we should know. Other than that, I think we're good.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.